7. Welcome everyone to Guardian Radio, the first and longest running Destiny podcast on the net. My name is Mark Turcott, and I'm broadcasting to you live safely from the top of the tower, set behind the impenetrable walls of the city. And joining me this week, first up, from inside his closet, literally inside his closet, my morning fire team brother, K-Dub. K-Dub, what's up, dude?
What's up, everybody? Yes, no, it is not a joke. It is not an anecdote. Yes, I do record from my closet.
Literally.
I wanted to say shout out real quick to my homeboy Roy. He works at Publix. He's a fan of the show. He's an awesome kid, and I think he's on break right now. Roy, what's up? The hell with that lady in front of me writing a check, right? All right. So Roy, what's up?
Awesome. Awesome. What's up, Roy? Thank you for tuning in. Okay, you messaged me right away when you saw him at Publix. So yeah, very cool. Yep. Let's see him finally from the heart of Queens, our king of Queens, Mesa Sean. Sean, what's up, dude?
Queens. What's going on, guys? Yeah, we got a lot of stuff to dissect, and I'm gonna try to. Well, actually, someone in my comment section coined the phrase "TT Destiny 2," which it seems like as I'm looking through the rundown, K-Dub, all this stuff, if it all hit at once with an expansion, this would be like a Taken King type of expansion.
It really would.
Major changes, but it looks like from what I'm gathering is they're going to be rolling it out slowly. You know what I mean? Kind of wish they all rolled it out at once. You know what I mean? Because then it would like have some serious gravity to it. But yeah, lots of stuff, and excited.
Well, let's get into it here, guys. Real quick, though. First, what's up, everybody, over on Twitch, twitch.tv/Guardian Radio. We do this show live, usually on Monday nights, but again, we're doing it on Tuesday this week. But like we said before, keep following us on Twitter at Guardians of D. It's the best way to find out when we're going to be recording the show next, and just to kind of keep up with what we got going on. And what's up to people watching over on Sean's YouTube channel. So we are pushing the shows now with the face cam. So if you're listening on the podcast, you can see our ugly mugs over on Twitch or on Sean's YouTube channel, youtube.com/Mesa Sean. And don't forget, you can email us, feedback@theguardiansofdestiny.com. We have some great emails we've been asking you guys over the last 2 weeks. And I'll tell you, if you don't hear your email this week, you guys are giving us topics. We asked for them, and you are just dumping them upon us. So keep sending them in, because that's going to, of course, help fuel the show in the weeks to come. But, guys, this update gave us so much to talk about, and I think we just need to jump in with it. So let's move in here with our news segment that we call Dispatches from the Traveler. All right, guys. So this week we finally got the big development update from our good friend Christopher Barrett, game director for Destiny 2. And this is the one that everyone has been waiting for, clamoring for, wanting to know where Destiny 2 was going. And I think the best way to do this is really just to kind of tear through some of this stuff kind of as he did it. I know there's lots of videos out there. Sean, you did a video. Sean and K-Dub did a basically.
We did that was fun. We did a stream. Yeah, it was a good time too, because we got to bounce off each other, and chat was responding, and we
only had one small Whip Mesa fail, but other than that, it was great.
Oh my god, yeah! At the beginning of it, I had my Elgato set up to that it was muting any audio coming from my PlayStation 4, which is obviously he was coming through my Astro A40s. So for the first part, I'm having K-Dub read the initial paragraph, because we were, kind of bouncing back and forth. Like, you read this part, I read this part, and I just see the chat. K-Dub, we can't hear him. I'm like, oh my god, what's going on? And then finally, oops, turned it up. Mesa fail.
Nice, but that is up, right? You posted all that up so people can go and see all that. Yeah, so go watch that if you can. I'll try to get it in the show notes. But let's throw up. I'm going to throw up an image here in the stream, and people can see this over on the YouTube channel. And this was the image of basically the post-launch content. Is this what was originally planned for Destiny? Is that kind of what they're putting in here? Is that what this was supposed to be?
I think this is new. I'm looking at it right now, but it's a low quality version of it. But
if you
they wanted to
now, it should be there.
They wanted to clearly separate the difference between the purple is stuff that you paid for. So if you paid for an expansion, if you paid for season pass, seasons is stuff that's available, like to everybody. But I think they did that image because they want to emphasize stuff to do and rewards coming from if you bought expansions or you're just playing the game. Eververse, if you notice, is all the way down and kind of almost grayed out, because based on the feedback, they really want to move to getting stuff from the game, not so much on Eververse.
I think the most important part is the middle, is the seasons part that says content that is available to all Destiny 2 players. Because that was one of the biggest complaints that everybody had was, I purchased Destiny 2 and I can't play Iron Banner. I can't do a faction rally. WTF? And, so they've fixed those things. And so I think what this is just saying, obviously, is an expansion you pay for. It's in this line. The seasons you paid for Destiny 2, you're going to get all of this content without having to do anything else. So I think they just wanted to set a clear line and it's all about expectations, right?
Yeah.
If you set a clear expectation, then you know what's coming, and then you're not surprised or shocked or pissed whenever something is a certain way. So they put it so it's very, very clear. It's a positive change. So I like it. I like it a lot.
Right, because I think, that was a lot of the confusion when Curse of Osiris came out, right? Everybody's like, wait a minute, I can't do the Nightfall anymore. I can't do all these things.
Yeah, people got locked out of content.
Exactly. So I think them kind of setting this forward. And I don't think that you would hope that they kind of realized what they were going to do with some of that stuff with Curse of Osiris, but maybe they didn't realize kind of the big impact or the rolling impact it was going to have for people that didn't get the expansion. Because let's face it, Destiny is a living, breathing game. Most people buying Destiny or Destiny 2, the thought is you're going to buy the expansions because it's a continually growing game. They just weren't thinking about it at the time. So here it is now, thrown out on the table. All the seasons, all that stuff, the raids, the Nightfalls, all that stuff, you're going to be able to get and kind of be able to get some of those new items along with the season. So this is something that, should have been addressed before, but now it's out there. And I think it's great that they're kind of moving forward and that they're making the changes that things like sparrows, ghosts, those type of things are going to be dropping from the seasonal content.
Yep.
It's not just going to be like, oh, you got to, go to Eververse and buy the loot box and hopefully get that stuff. It's like, no, there's going to be clear set paths for you to go and things to grind to specifically get those items, which is, I think, what we needed, right? We needed those carrots. We've been saying that forever.
Yep.
So.
We'll talk about that a little more in the show, but I have it in the rundown when we talk about Eververse, but they absolutely needed to do those changes, and I think they made them. And I think all the things we're going to talk about tonight are positive in the right direction. Is it a one push a button one time fix? No, it's going to take some time. But I think, like Sean has always said, we're in Destiny 2 vanilla, right? And so hopefully this is now we're going to head down the right path. We've got our roadmap that we wanted. Hopefully the changes are all positive, and let's see where we go from here.
Yep.
The only thing is, like ships and sparrows and ghost shells, they're kind of devalued a little bit. You got to admit that, because we were so used to getting them, like from Eververse. So now we can get them from Endgame activities. What I hope they do from the go forward with the next expansion is really create unique. And we're going to talk about the raid rework. Reward.
Hey, don't give the whole show away. It's in the show.
Okay.
I don't do the whole show in 5 minutes. But Sean, no, I think that's a good point, because if they are going to begin bringing those things to, like here it is. It says the iron or the seasonal rewards are going to be in the Crucible Strikes and Trials of a Nine are going to be available to all players. To make us want to chase those ghosts or make us want to chase those sparrows, they need to be unique enough to make you do it. And honestly, I think they're probably going to do that. I mean, what's the ghost you get from Curse of Osiris? What's her name? I can't believe I can't think of her name right now. Sagira. Like, I really want that ghost, but for me right now, I'm like the grind of like having to do. And I know like a lot of people are like, no, the grind is fun and getting out there, but I think I'm going to really wait until some of these updates come in, because then you're going to be getting more rewarded by grinding at that point. Even though Sagira is going to be at the end, and that's kind of the ultimate goal, she's a very unique ghost. There's no other ghosts really like that in the game.
Sangria.
And we need the best ghost shell out there. I mean, like, I bought the public event ghost shell. I deleted so many sparrows and other stuff to get it for Bright Dust, and I don't think it gives me any better reward. 'Cause it's a public event when we're supposed to get increased loot drops from all public events. I might do a test video this weekend or something like that, actually testing it out. But I have not seen any difference in my loot drops from public events from it. But the Sagira ghost shell is great. If they had more Sagira-like ghost shells for other destinations that you could chase after, because the difference with Sagira is that it looks for chests and for planetary resources at 75 meters out. All the other ghost shells are like 30 meters, So when you're on Mercury, you're seeing stuff everywhere. You're like, oh, there's something there I got to pick up, something there I got to pick up. So if they start introducing more ghost shells like Sagira in terms of like for each destination, I would totally grind for that,
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Eververse. And here was their exact comments on Eververse, because people were wondering, are they just going to completely get rid of Eververse? Is Eververse going to be gone? Well, here's what he had to say. He said, Eververse, we recognize that the scales are tipped too far towards test at the moment. And Eververse was never intended to be a substitute for endgame content and rewards. So we'll be making 3 changes for the upcoming seasons. He says we're shifting the balance of new content in favor of activity rewards over bright engrams. This includes adding ghost sparrows and ships. He said to date found only in the bright engrams, which obviously to achievement reward pools. Will provide a gameplay path to earn bright engrams and all contained rewards, including the event engrams. And they'll give players more direct purchase options and make adjustments to bright engrams to allow players to get the items they want more often. So what do you guys think of that? Being able to basically directly buy the items that you want.
That's similar to Destiny 1. You know, Eververse I felt was really dumbed down in Destiny 1, which is a good thing. More things to chase within a game. But also they're kind of taking us over to Crimson Days, because right away when everyone saw the Crimson Days rewards, we're all like, oh, great, this is another Eververse festival. But if you read in the update, most of the milestones, there's things like double engrams upon level up, 1 Crimson Engram and 1 Illuminated Engram for the duration of the event. Crimson Engrams can drop from Crimson Days matches, from completing Crimson Days milestones in each. So basically, you can see the route they're going is they're trying to dumb down Eververse like they did in Destiny. And I mean dumb down in a good way, meaning that people aren't so focused on it because there's going to be hopefully more loot to chase within the actual game itself.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. Sean, real quick, shut off your camera and turn it back on, man. I think you froze up on my screen. So.
Oh, did I? Okay.
Just shut up and kick it back.
Yeah,
what do you think about the idea of being able to buy the things we want? I mean, I think that's kind of how Eververse kind of should have always been, right?
And,
I mean,
you see something cool you like.
That's how the emotes were in D1, and that's how games like, Elder Scrolls Online or any of these MMOs, it's like, hey, here's a mount that I want, or in Destiny, a sparrow that I want. Let me just buy it. And I understand for them, they make more money by having people pull the slot machine. But to me, it's a great change. If there's an emote that I want, I'll go and buy it, just like I did in Destiny 1. If there's a sparrow that I want, I'll just go and buy it. I think that's just the smart way to do it. And that builds, I think, confidence in your player base with the game. So I think that's great that they're going to do that.
I think it's a balancing act. So, they need to make money. They need to make certain goals, because there are absolutely, I guarantee you, goals and monetary, plateaus that they need to hit to achieve the stuff that they've contractually agreed to, or there's shareholder stuff, whatever. But the reality of, as a player, we don't necessarily care about that, obviously, but it's a reality of business. But if it's in the loot pool, and we don't want to grind for it, and you just I don't give a crap, I want that emote, you just want to go buy it, you can go buy it.
Yeah.
But if you want to grind for it and go grind for it, you can. It has to be both. You have to have both options.
Yep.
But that also minimizes some of the monetary influx, because if it's only paywall, believe it or not, with all the salt, more people will pay.
Yeah.
Than if it's in the loot pool, but more people are pissed. So it's one of those balancing acts that you got to okay. So they've made the right decision, put it in the loot pool, and then I think we're still going to have options to purchase things if we want it and we don't want to grind for it.
I mean, honestly, I hope. Of course, I would want everything to be there to be available for purchase, but I see them doing hey, 1 week, this is what's available. The selfie emote is available this week. If you want it, buy it, and then it goes back into the loot pool, or into the loot pool, which is fine. I mean, that's how it should be.
Yep.
Because then and then it's hey, it's a short time offer. You have this 1 week to buy it, and that kind of sucks if, let's say, you didn't have the money at that point, or maybe you missed it. But it's hey, that's cool. I think, because then that. Like Sean was talking about how sparrows and things are devalued, those things wouldn't be devalued, because it's hey, for that 1 week people could buy it and then it's gone. And if you weren't there 6 months ago when it was sold, and suddenly you see a guy doing the selfie emote and you're like, oh man, that's awesome. How did you get that? Hey, I played 6 months ago. That's the only time it was on sale. Other than that, it's just a random drop. Yeah. And then when it drops for somebody, they're freaking out because it's oh my God, I got the selfie emote, and it just puts value into those things. And so it's definitely, I think the way they're going to implement it now is definitely going to add a little bit more value to those items and give people a little bit more excitement when those things drop. But again, like we said, you need to make sure those things are unique and not just kind of the basic.
The frustration with Eververse is that there's not enough stuff in the game to grind for. I remember during Age of Triumph, my friends, they were not brag, but they were joking around how they're throwing money at the screen trying to get the Age of Triumph gear set, $150, $200, because there was so much other stuff to grind in the game. They didn't care. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, let's just move on.
We got to be inundated with cosmetic stuff. So they saw the thing of, okay, slippery slope, let's make it all cosmetic. But there's a bazillion cosmetic things. It's like it got to be too much, which devalued them all. You know, the reason that we wanted those certain things, the reason that you wanted that ship from the raid, Sean, is because of why? Because it was
impossible
rare
to get. Yeah.
Right. I've said it last week. The thing that gives value is rarity. And if by having a bazillion of them, you have 7,000 puffy ghost shells, who gives a crap, right?
Mm-hmm. So they are beginning now with Crimson Days, which is coming February 13th. These changes are coming in. And so they're saying here, completing the Nightfall, the raid, and the Crimson Day milestone will give you a legendary emote, weapon skin, and exotic sparrow, respectively. And you're also going to now earn double engrams, which is great. So you're going to not only get the Illuminated engram, but you'll also get the Crimson Days engram. So they're basically going to incentivize people to come in, play this event. If you like any of the items that are there, you're going to be getting both the Crimson engrams and the Illuminated, which unfortunately with the Dawning did not happen. You're going to have those gimped engrams, if you want to say. And also each Crimson engram is very strongly weighted to new rewards when decrypted. So there you go.
Well, it says when decrypted until all new event items have been
there you
obtained.
go. Until all are new. Yeah.
That's critical right there. So basically they're saying just take part in the event and you hopefully can get everything that you want, you know?
Yep. Which I think is great. I mean, that's kind of what we all have been wanting, right? Is to be able to get that. So let's see. Let's keep on moving in here. So Masterwork Armor.
Armor's coming, yeah.
This is coming January 30th with that update. The Masterwork Armor.
This is the calendar going forward. So on the rundown, I break down the calendar going forward. So this is the January 30th update.
Okay, so January 30th update. Masterwork Armor. They're expanding the Masterwork system to include the armor. It's going to provide increased damage reduction while using your super. So that's kind of the big thing that's coming with the armor. It says you can re-roll the armor stats, so you can, just like you can with the weapon. So those stats are going to be more what? Kind of the resilience and all that?
I think it's going to be resilience, mobility, and then recovery. My question is, though, so if you turn 5 pieces of armor into a masterwork, is it going to make you virtually impossible to kill while having your super? Meaning, like, if you have one masterwork armor piece, so you get that bonus of masterwork armor provides increased damage reduction. Do you have, because Christopher Barrett did tweet out a long time ago about kind of the basics of Masterworks armor, and they have to figure it out because you're obviously going to have 5 pieces. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like they got to figure out. I'm guessing it's going to be a stacking effect. I'd be
really. Sean, I almost hope it is, right? Because that's kind of would give you that carrot, right? You if you get one piece and then it's just kind of that flattens everything out. You don't want that, right? You want to be able to get the 5 pieces. The only issue is what does that do to balance?
Well, okay, PvP, there's 2 issues. Okay, PvP folks, they're going to complain because if it makes you, picture a Stormcaller with 5 pieces of Masterworks.
Oh yeah,
and they're like unkillable. That's going to be a problem. But for something like the raid, if I'm doing Prestige Callus or when Argos Prestige comes out, I'm going to want a full set of Masterwork armor when I'm in my super to not get killed. You know what I mean? So I see huge benefits on the PvE side. I could see some unbalanced things on the PvP side. So maybe, I'm sure we'll learn more about it when they actually roll it out, but I'm sure they are hopefully they're thinking about this on how it's going to affect PvP.
Honestly, we could use a little unbalance in PvP.
To make it more fun.
I was thinking that, man. Yeah.
Like when was the last time you saw a team wipe from a Stormcaller or Blade Dance? As soon as 3 people see that Arc Strider coming near them, you just switch to your energy weapon and that Arc Strider is toast, Yeah. So...
would it be possible for them, and I don't think they're doing anything like this yet in the game, but could they, and we've always talked about it, like balance things for PvE versus PvP, make it in PvE, those pieces stack. In PvP, it's just as long as you have 1 piece.
I hope so, man. I really hope they do that.
Right? Maybe that's the way they balance it, but as of right now, there's nothing like that in the game, right? Because we don't have any Power Matters playlists.
No.
So maybe that's kind of where it is. It just would be like, you got 1 piece. That's all you need is the 1 piece. And it just bumps you down a certain percentage. But
they did say a long time ago that every weapon was handcrafted. I'm wondering if it's the same thing with armor, that if if the weapons are handcrafted and something becomes a problem, they could just quickly go in and tune it because they have static rolls. Well, armor is probably,
which they stated before D2 dropped that they can do.
Yeah. So hopefully they can balance it, because it would be fun to run a full master. You run into, I'd run Storm, because look, I never run Stormcaller because every time I run it, I get wasted as soon as I pop my super. Whereas I always go Voidwalker.
By the way, I think, Sean, that you have kind of shifted, and I think you might have fallen into the Hunter little. You might not be a full-fledged Warlock anymore, I think.
You know what it is, man? Shout out to Scuff, man. I am just so used to bunny hopping around people in PvP.
It's easy
My
mode,
Scuff is,
dude.
I'm not.
Hunter is easy mode.
I'm not thinking about it because I'm just constantly.
It's true.
While jumping around like a bunny hop. Same thing with the Titan too. I just find it easier to jump. Yep. But
that's the whole. So when D1 first dropped, I was all about the Warlock. I was like, great. We played the beta. I was Warlock all day. And then as I got to, it's movement, right? As we learned about movement, I was like, this floaty-ass Warlock, I can't deal with this. And it was just the jump that I couldn't deal with. And both the other two classes, you could move better. Yeah. I shouldn't say you. I could move better.
Blink, I love
right,
Blink.
Right. That's the only way. I would play Nova Bomb, Blink, Warlock all day long, and that's the only way I could play my Warlock. Unless I was in a raid, I need to make certain jumps, I need to do certain things, or I got to float across a long distance or whatever. Then but man, I can't deal with that jump. I just can't do it. And
the thing I hate about Blink though is they removed your HUD for a couple of seconds.
Right. They changed that. Right.
I really relied on that before they nerfed that. And I think it was in year 3 they finally did that to the Blink in for Destiny 1, I think. So
yeah, you're right.
It'd be interesting to see how this pans out, and that's for January 30th, right?
Yep, January 30th.
That's January 30th, and I'm so psyched about the raid perks, dude.
I would say let's talk about the big one.
Yeah,
come on, baby.
Raid perks. This is the one people have been asking for. Make the raid gear worthwhile to grind for. So here's what they're doing to the raid. The raid reward rework. They're updating raid rewards to make them more unique and interesting. They're now going to feature mods with raid-specific perks. They're adjusting the rewards to ensure a raid item drops from each major encounter, so you're not just going to get tokens. Says the raid vendor will also directly sell Leviathan and Eater of Worlds armor and weapons for purchase with raid tokens and legendary shards. And they're also adding a new ghost with raid-specific perks that has a chance to drop from the Leviathan and Eater of Worlds final encounters. And I
hope that ghost looks sick,
to creating more raid and more activity unique rewards in the future.
Yes.
So that's awesome. A lot to dissect right there, because I'm trying to think, okay, what perks do I want in either the Eater of the Worlds or within the Leviathan raid, right? Like one of them could be take less, because I know the big problem in the Eater of Worlds is those damn Minotaurs, those yellow bars. As soon as you start cooking the craniums, could be resistance to damage from them, or maybe bonus damage to yellow bar Minotaurs. Maybe for the Leviathan, something like boots that give you increased agility when running the gauntlet, or something.
Yep. Something in the skulls too. Maybe the skulls don't do as much damage to you, or something like that.
Or like in the throne, because in the throne on Prestige, when you're trying to clear ads, I mean, it could get brutal in there. Maybe resistance to Cabal. I don't know. There's a million things they could do with this, because that's what we loved about Destiny 1's raid armor, especially
the dog bites.
Well, during Age of Triumph, you know what I mean? Oh, yeah, I know, right? Resist. Yeah, what could they do for pleasure garments? I'm trying to think, because it's really, I mean, you don't want to.
Is it possible for this armor to drop as a masterwork piece, or is it possible to turn one of these into a masterwork? It's got to be, right?
Like, what if you had they could give you an increased damage for when you get the spores go, and you get more
more stacks, right?
Yeah, more stacks, something like that. I don't know.
But it says that these are going to be mods, right? So they will now feature mods with raid specific perks. So it's actually going to be the mod, not the armor itself.
Right.
But that's interesting, because all right, so you get the armor and you'll have a mod. I was kind of hoping it'd be a mod would drop and I could put it on anything I want. You know what I mean? Like if I get a mod and I want to put it on my Titan, because everyone complains about the token system. Token system is no different than ranking up a faction or Vanguard or Crucible in Destiny 1, except you could use those tokens on any character.
On other characters, yeah.
That's why people are complaining about it so much, because you literally can go grind on your Hunter or, whatever all day. And then if you want to get some gear on your Titan, just open up, just pop the tokens on that. But I think it's it's just the process of cashing in the tokens, I think, is a turnoff for people because it does kind of feel like a slot machine. But people don't realize when you're going in or you're feeding Motes of Light to Luxury Me 2 or Executive Headache, it was the same thing. You know, you're pulling a slot machine, but you were physically putting in like Motes of Light or something, or you were doing bounties or, you know, popping a rep booster for strikes, a crucible. So it should be interesting to see what they do.
But I think it's going to bring a lot of people back to the raid. I mean, for me personally, I think it's going to bring me back, you know, to be able to get those weapons. But I think, again, it's all going to boil down to, and I know a lot of the argument, to kind of just show what I think some of the other side of the argument for some people is that's great, I'm going to get these perks, but then what's the point of me getting it? You know, give me content. But I think when you're able to get these things like this, it's going to help you run the raid more. I've yet to run Prestige. I haven't run the Prestige raid yet. So this is going to help me when I go to do that. Plus, what we're going to talk about here in a minute, the strike scoring and the high score tracker. Like that to me is awesome. Like that is one of the best things outside of the raid perks for me is the fact that strike scoring is coming with modifiers coming down the pipe. Let's talk about that for a minute. So with the February update, we're going to get strike scoring and the high score tracking. Scoring is coming to the Nightfall and replacing the current time limit mechanic, which is interesting. So they're getting rid of the time limit, which I remember on the show me saying I did enjoy the time limit, and I still do. I think that's cool. I think that would be a neat thing maybe every once in a while to bring back. I think the timing's cool. But I think
too rushed. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm with you, Sean.
The Nightfall brings me more anxiety doing it rather than fun.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
they
need to return the fun factor.
Like, well, you know what? Nightfalls used to feel tactical. Like, it used to feel like, you know, and as dumb as people think camping in the back is a dumb idea, like the original Nightfalls, you had to do that. And, all right, I'm going to move up a little bit. And then you move up. Oh, God, he's dying. And boom, you die. And you're like, all right, everybody get safe. We got to try to res them. And it just became this very tactical challenge to get through.
In real life battle, you don't just go, let's go see how fast we can run through there. No, man, you're going to be tactical about how you're going to go and engage every single opponent that you're going to go up against.
Yep.
So you can go balls to the wall and go run through and die, fine. But if you don't want to die and you want to be tactical and you want to be skillful and you want to be, you know, snipe people and head glitch and do whatever you want to do, go for it if that's the way you want to play. You want to give people the ability to play whatever play style they want to play. Don't force them into a play style.
So I mean, I liked the time limit at first because it was exciting. Then it got old, I think, after about like the first month, I think, you know. I mean, if they rotate it, you know, like here and there, like maybe once a month, you know.
Like I said, if that's a modifier, if the time limit just becomes a modifier itself, and every once in a while,
throw it in, you know,
once a month, every once in a while it pops up, I'm cool with that. I think that's pretty neat. But they're also bringing in, says it's going to be similar to Destiny 1 with adjustments to emphasize competitive execution of the strike objectives. And support for player selectable score modifiers.
You see that? Look at that wording.
Yeah.
Player selectable score modifiers.
So can you almost go in then and make it more difficult for yourself at the expense, be able to score more points at the expense of making it more difficult, which is pretty awesome, right? You can say, hey, my team, we're all 335s. We all have masterwork armor, masterwork weapons. We want to make this as hard as we can so we can get the highest score that we can. And you just go in and just wreck it.
Especially if there's going to be high score tracking.
Yeah. Thank you for highlighting that player selectable score modifier. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, dude.
That's a big deal. You know, I wonder what they're going to do with that. What if you select it based on certain modifiers, you get rewarded?
Well, look at Mystic said. Maybe they'll let you add the timer. Like maybe it doesn't have the timer, but it's like, hey, you can put a timer on, and if you do it in 15 minutes or you know whatever the timer is, you get X amount of points. And because they're showing it in game and tracking it, they're going to be able to see, because they're also going to have clan and community high scores. Those are in the works. I don't think they're going to come right when this launches, but hell, man,
also if you look at Christopher Barrett's Twitter feed since the update, he's been clarifying some things, and someone asked him. Don't know if you've answered this or not, but any word on strike / lost sector specific loot being worked on? He says more thematic loot that drops from named bosses and unique activities is definitely something we are planning to add. I mean, you know, there's a lot they could do with strikes. There's so much they could do with strike scoring, with this whole us selecting the score modifiers. And then, you know, if we make it as hard as we want, we'll get rewarded for that. Maybe it could be some, if they, you know, Chris said they want to make a more simplified and more, you know, interesting modification system. You know what I mean? Like what if you do it on a certain, like you try it out at one level with, like certain modifiers, and you see what loot you get from it. And you say, you know what? We'll try to get some better stuff. Select these other modifiers. There's a lot they could do with this. A lot.
Yep. Really Nick's asking in the chat. He says, "Is this coming to all or just the Nightfall?" I think it's initially just for the Nightfall.
Just
right?
Nightfall for now.
It's ultimately, or eventually, it's going to come to the Heroic Strike playlist.
I really hope it comes to
It's got to come to the Heroic. I think he said later on down the line.
It says the scoring is similar to Destiny 1's system, but with adjustments to emphasize competitive execution of strike objectives and support for player selectable score modifiers. It doesn't say. It just says strike objectives. But it says strike scoring is coming to Nightfall and replacing the current blah, 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 blah. So I think that's kind of going towards Nightfall only. But yeah, I would love to see that in Heroic as well.
Yeah, I think they did say, like, it might be later on there that, like, eventually it's coming to the Heroic Strike playlist. But I almost want to say that was even, like, summer or fall. Like, that's one of those things far off. Like, the Nightfall is kind of what they're focused on right now. But remember, what was the first competitive Destiny that we ever saw played? They were speedrunning strikes. Remember, it was like Holtzman and somebody else casting.
Yeah, at the Red Bull Studios,
and like to me, when I read this, I was like, yes, like this would be great for Destiny. It's like the competitive PvP side right now. Is
PvE, get good scrub.
This is great. I think this would be awesome, man, because it gives PvE players the way to compete.
Obviously, as a big clan guy, I love the next line. We also have plans for clan and community high scores in the works. Yep. So Sean and I talked about this a little bit when we did the stream the other day when this went live. So I'm curious as to when that says plans for clan and community high scores in the works. So clan high scores, is that just for the high scores for the people in your clan, or is that clan versus clan high scores? That's what I would like to see.
Yeah, that'd be
I would like to see some sort of a scoreboard with your clan, who had the highest scores, which clan had the highest scores, those type of things. Those, we talk about this. I remember a million times we talked about back in D1 where, you've got that board that was there. It was just gobbledygook and
right.
text. But to make that like an actual scoreboard in game in the tower would be
sweet.
So ridiculous, man.
That's a great idea,
man. In game, I'm not saying, I don't want it to be some sort of, okay, we go to BNet and we look up the clans. Okay, that's better than nothing. But have an in-game freaking scoreboard in the tower would be bananas. And then see Guardian 1, see Rezo, see Boom, whatever it is.
You know what would even be cooler, dude? Like, I mean, it'd be great to see all these big clans, right? But, I mean, in the end, because there's millions of people playing or hundreds of thousands, whatever it is now, you're never going to come across some of those players. What if, because in game it shows us the roster of who's in the tower and it knows what clan those people are in, it just breaks it down in the tower. So like if I came in and Guardian 1 had the number 1 time, it would show Guardian 1 at number 1. Right. Based off the other people in the tower, Rezo, or whoever, which would be cool. So it's you could literally look at the scoreboard and then look around you, and the people around you in the tower are those names up on the scoreboard. And then maybe you have the one that just kind of is the ultimate, whoever the number 1 person is. But I think that would be neat because then you could see those people in game that are right there with you that are beating you. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Let's keep working through here, guys, because we got a lot more. Let's talk about mods 2.0.
Yep.
It says work is underway in a full rework of armor and weapon mods. They're going to focus on reducing redundant mods, put more unique theming, and greatly increase their impact on your power. It says they're aiming for a February release, but with the scope of the rework, it could push parts of it out to even early spring. And they said they'll be evaluating how mods play into the Bright Engram economy as a result because they're sensitive to pay-to-win outcomes. So that right there, I mean, the fact that they decided to put the mods into the Bright Engram shows you why the mods just don't really impact the game because they didn't want pay-to-win to be there. And I mean, the argument is you shouldn't have put mods in the Bright Engrams in the first place. They shouldn't have been there. Like, there's no reason for those things to be anywhere near anything that you're paying for. So hopefully they could just rip them out and then we can finally get these game-changing mods that will impact your power, just like he says.
Yep. They're slowly going to tweak Banshee. I mean, they tweaked him already so that his inventory changes daily, that you can buy things from. But also, I mean, like, I don't know about you guys, I've been Glimmer capped nonstop. So when I'm top down in Glimmer, I just go buy blue engrams nonstop. It's just loading up on them because I know eventually those mod parts will come in handy, I think. I'm already stocking up on Masterwork cores so that when the armor hits, I've got Masterwork cores to upgrade stuff,
Let's see. Other things coming in the February update. They're going to do some changes to the quick play playlist. They're adjusting game mode rules to increase the pace of gameplay and power ammo acquisition.
That's a big thing, by the way.
Yeah.
with all the talk about changing the way that our slots work as far as power ammo, and kinetic and energy, and possibly making changes to that. Power ammo acquisition in quick play, it's a little bit different, but I think watching that, because I think you can get power ammo doesn't seem to be in today's quick play a hard thing to come by. Like, everybody's always running around in rockets.
I get bumped out of the way by my teammates all the time.
Right. I do, yeah, me too.
I hate it when people do that.
So I think that definitely they're looking at that. I think there's going to be some interesting big changes coming to the way that PvP works. And Christopher Barrett said they're looking at bringing fusion rifles and shotguns back to their old glory.
I got the tweet right in front of me. Want me to read it real quick?
Yeah, go.
Because Destiny 2 needs more weapons that matter, both in power and the hunt to acquire them. Exotics need to live up to their name. The most skillful and visceral weapons like snipers, shotguns, and fusions need to return to their glory. We're on it. This may not have come across strong enough in the update. The Sandbox team is an amazingly talented group and are hard at work on changes. I did a speculation on this, like what if they, because a lot of people are saying go back to the old system.
I don't think we're doing that.
No, what I think they're going to do is they may drop some snipers and some shotguns and some fusions in as energy weapons, but then, okay, so everyone's like, well, then that's all anyone, they'll just run around with their shotgun, the whole time. If they were to do that, because I don't think they would change it, whereas, they're going to go back to the old system. Throw snipers, shotguns, and fusions into the energy slot, but just when you play PvP, the ammo is either less available,
limited, right?
You run out of it really quickly, or maybe they bring back the the green crates like they did in Destiny 1, but make them for energy weapon. You know what I mean?
You get one load or something
because
like that.
Because I was talking with someone from Bungie the other day, and we were talking about speed, how the Crucible felt faster, and a lot of it was because of the weapon system, our character movement, but there was those times where sliding annoying shotgun guy, you know what I mean? Yeah. Or, like just constantly having those moments of like, watching Real Crafty or MTashed or True Vanguard pull off those, quad feeds and stuff. It was a faster paced game because of special. Even when they nerfed special, that you had to go
the greenery.
The greenery,
yeah.
They always say. Once they nerfed it, that you had to go pick it up every time. It still was very fast paced, And I think it's lacking that right now because it's all primary gunfights, really. Well,
the best way to take a super down is with the energy weapons, right?
With the energy, yeah.
So I'm trying to think, like, if you're adding in now these pieces of armor where people are going to be running around with, where it's already more difficult to kill them in a super, and then somehow not that they're going to nerf the energy slot, but if you're going to say, okay, well, you don't have as much energy ammo, then those guys are even harder to kill, right? Like, I don't know.
Right, but I'm not saying nerf all the energy. I just mean, like, you could still use your prosecutor, you could still use your sunshot, your energy weapons. But if it's a shotgun or a fusion rifle or sniper in PvP, they'll maybe have less ammo. You know what I mean? Or maybe have the ammo that you were used to within Destiny 1, whereas you pull sniper ammo for your green, or for your energy slot, you would get, 4 or 5 bullets or something like that. You pull shotgun ammo, you spawn in with 3 shots, or you have to pull.
I remember with Truth in D1, I would get a purple crate, and I'd have 5 rockets, 6.
Yeah, I know.
It depends if I had a certain helmet or boots on that gave me more ammo.
Do you remember when you killed someone and they dropped heavy for you?
Yes.
Yes.
I know.
Yep. That was stupid, though.
It was in Mayhem. It was last week.
Yeah.
Let's see. So we have also there's a PC tower chat coming, right? They said that's coming.
That's a good idea. So
it needs to be in there, man. I mean, it should have been there from the beginning.
An old-time WoW player, having that chat in game was huge, man. You had your LFG in game, you had chat in game, you had clan chat in game, you had all those things. Boom, right there in the little thing. You could ignore people, you could do whatever. That absolutely needs to be part of the game. And great. Yep. There's also, they're talking about an in-game PC clan or PC chat. That one I didn't even put in the rundown because people that are on PC are already in Discord. So, but the chat I like.
Text chat definitely needs to be there.
Right, absolutely right.
And then the other piece here coming in February too is the fire team members will be available on your destination map. So you'll finally be able to see them, members of your fire team on that map. You don't have to ask where they are. I mean, and actually, I think we're going to do a post stream after this, Kate. I mean, one of the things we're going to do is probably go do our flashpoints. Yeah. And it's like, all right, which landings pad or whatever you go into next, you got to call it out. And it's like, come on, man. Like, just
he's in the gulch or the sludge.
Yeah, like, ugh, it's just the worst. So that's good. I mean, that is a huge quality of life update. When I read that, that's huge. Let's see, spring 2018. So this is the next expansion. This is what they're planning on bringing with the next expansion. And this is now actually
some stuff independent of that.
But
I think this is all going to be timed at the same time.
It is, yeah. It'll probably drop with it. Yeah. They're going to deliver a bunch of new features. So it says every player will get things in this category. So the big one that is coming is Crucible. So they want to give players new reasons to play, more variety and balance improvements are coming. Spring's also going to bring in the long-awaited thing that people have been waiting for. And I want to even say people who have been fans of Bungie going back to the Halo days. I mean, this is what we've been waiting for. Is rankings in the Crucible, a ranked playlist. So, and they're actually going to do 2 different rankings, which I think is a smart thing for them to do. Beginning with Season 3, they're going to introduce, the first one is Valor, which is a progression rank that goes up as you compete in matches. Winning helps you move up faster, but there's no loss to your progression. It basically shows how much you love the Crucible.
You lose your ELO or whatever your Valor rank is doesn't go down.
Glory is the big one. Glory is a progression rank where it goes up when you win and down when you lose in performance.
It's a true ELO system.
Yes, so that's pretty much the big one. So how are you guys feeling about that?
If it makes the streamers stop complaining about Crucible, I'm all for it. But no, from a casual PvP scrub like myself, it'll be interesting, because, like we'll go in and say, like, you know what? I wonder what my rank would be as an average player. You know what I mean? And if it means that the big PvP streamers stream more and play more Crucible, that's good for the game. You know what I mean? If they're grinding to see who's going to be the best of the best, just climbing the glory progression system and see, I'm all for it. It's better for the community. It's better for the game. That first comment was just kind of joking around or whatever, snap. But that's all they complain about. You know what I mean? Right. They want ranked play. Well, you got it. Use it.
The cool thing. So, I've had some comments on Twitter with some other people, and people being pissed about why don't they show KD anymore? Why don't they show green bar, red bar, any of that stuff? They stated a long time ago why they're not showing that stuff.
Yeah.
And it was to reduce salt, honestly. But I think this is the right way to do it. You've got 2 different playlists. One, you just keep ranking up. The other one is an ELO system, which is what the image that Mark is showing on screen, which shows like there's a 5500, a 5000, a 4235, and a 5425. As you keep going, you're gonna, when you get to see that dude that's 7000 glory rank, you're like, oh god, I don't want to go anywhere near that guy, right? But and it's going to be more of an ELO system, and that's great. And then you can also, hopefully, what'll happen is going forward, once you go to do a match and you're in the glory playlist, then it's going to match you with similar ranked ELO or glory ranked people.
That's the thing that he didn't mention. And when you look at that image, all it says is competitive. So my guess is competitive is just going to be as it is now, just with this glory ranking on top of it. But I think the successful, or whether this is going to be successful or not, is going to boil down to exactly what you just said, Caleb.
Right.
How is the matchmaking? Is the matchmaking really going to be based off that glory? I mean, honestly, that's how it should be. You look at other competitive games like, you can throw in like Overwatch, or, that's how Halo 2 used to be. Halo 3, you had your level, your skill level. It was visible in game, and it would match you up with people of, like skill, silly, which it already does, but you could visibly see it,
It would be silly to go into matchmaking, and it matches you up with, 3 people against that have 7,000 glory rank, and you're at a 2,000. It's just you're just going to get pub stopped. It's going to be terrible. There should be a buffer of 1,500 points or whatever it is, where if you're within a certain tier, you get matched with other people in that tier, and it allows you to, as you win, maybe get to the next tier.
That's how MOBAs do it. You have diamond, gold, silver, bronze. You have all those, and I almost hope that they introduce something like that. How cool would that be if there was like an aura you could put around your character? Like if you're in diamond,
sweet,
whatever, you glow to certain. color or whatever. Like that would
No
be
doubt.
cool. And maybe that's something they're thinking about. You know, I doubt it's just going to be this one ranking number and that's it. There's got to be something else. And I mean, you look at what Overwatch does. What Overwatch does is they have their seasons, and their seasons are more like a competitive season. How cool would that be if, like, all right, we're going into season 3. How high can you get your glory in season 3?
Right.
Wherever you're at by the end, you get X amount of rewards. And if you were able to get into a certain tier, you get whatever that tier reward is. I think that's cool. You want that in game.
Agreed. Yeah.
I really hope they do that for sure. But also coming along with that, changes to the Crucible are the private matches. So that's huge. You can finally, hopefully now we can really start getting some true Destiny 2 competitive matches, competitive tournaments, things like that really coming in. But guys, to me, one of the best things coming, 6v6 is returning to Destiny 2. It's coming. There's going to be a 6v6 playlist. Of course, it's going to be in the private matches. Man.
Okay,
awesome.
My question is this, though. How are they going to pull this off? Because there's 2 scenarios. The maps right now are meant for 4v4s, correct? So is it only going to be new maps they're going to introduce for 6v6? Or do they have the ability to take a 4v4 map and just expand it out a little bit? Because, like, if we look at Shores of Time and Distant Shore, it's a revamp, and I love revamps. Like, I really hope they bring back some old Destiny 1 maps. But you can tell the Distant Shores map is smaller. You know what I mean? So how are they going to do? Is it going to be just all new maps for 6v6? Because 6v6 on Endless Vale, the only map I could think about that 6v6 might work on right now is maybe Emperor's Respite or Vostok or something. But on something like Endless Vale or like some of the other smaller maps, it's going to be. I mean, I like Chaos. I mean, you know, don't get me wrong.
Here's where I was kind of saying before, where if you look at this update that we're talking about, is the spring 2008 release, which is when the next expansion comes.
Yeah, maybe they bring those maps.
So we're going to have the maps that now would work for 6s plus new maps. So I think Distant Shore would still work for 6s.
Yeah.
Vostok, yes. The other one you mentioned, yes. There's probably one other map in there that I could. What's the map with the man cannons?
I forget. I know what you're talking about though.
The man cannons?
Where you can shoot across. Yeah, you can shoot across the different sides.
That would work for 6s still.
That would work.
And so there's 3 or 4 maps that would work for 6s now. They're gonna have to work out spawn points.
Yeah, spawning's gonna be a big
trapping
issue,
has been a little bit of an issue still. So you got to make sure the spawn points are tweaked a little bit, have the right maps, and then the new maps that come in with the expansion are going to go along with the 6s, and I think we'll be fine. So I'm really looking forward to this. I'm telling you right now, everybody's going to be jumping in 6s. If you want, I can tell you right now, if you want to find a quick match, everybody's going to go to 6s. And it sounds funny because you need to find less people, right? Or more people. Yeah. You're going to find more people.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, but it's like, nope, that's where people are going to be.
Everybody's going to be.
Hell yeah, man.
Absolutely.
You know, it wouldn't surprise me, you know, how Destiny 1 evolved and changed radically changed from vanilla to all the way to Rise of Iron, you know, to Age of Triumph. It wouldn't surprise me if down the road quick play, let's say a year from now, is all 6v6 and competitive is all 4v4.
That would make sense, Sean. Yep.
That's how it was designed, I think, Shawnee. That's the reason that, look, we've said this all along. All these drastic, crazy changes that they made to D2 were due to complaints of people from D1, specifically a lot of them, the competitive scene. Mm-hmm. They wanted 4s, competitive. Your stuff that you go watch tournaments of, they're playing 4s.
Yeah.
They want balance. They want all that stuff. They want smaller maps, you know, longer TDKs. They made all that stuff happen. Static rolls, all of it, and it broke the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, but what we've said all along is, give us choices. But it's hard when you got to do all this stuff to give all of these different things, and now here we go into the TTKing of Destiny 2, and I think we're going to start branching out and getting to where we get our choices of doing what we want to do.
Because like if you combine 6v6s with what, you know, Christopher was talking about with more skillful and visceral weapons like snipers, shotguns, and fusions, I mean, that was the fun part of on a big map. Let's say like Frontier. I don't know. That always rings a bell. If I wanted to try to be annoying sniper guy on Control on Frontier, I'd be the one that would go on the opposite side of BDOM and try to pick people off, from across the map. You know what I mean? Whereas right now with 4s, everyone's kind of rolling deep, holding hands. You know what I mean? Basically. Whereas
you have the team shot. That's all.
You got a team shot. Whereas the 66, I miss, and we know at the end Rumble is going to hopefully come in the fall. I've always said this. I know a lot of people probably don't agree with me. I like the time to kill better in Destiny 2 than I do Destiny 1. I know a lot of people don't like it.
No, I do.
I like it, but I don't experience those one-on-one gunfights. It's always me and someone else shooting one guy or two guys, I either got the assist, and I'm like, why am I've gotten like 5 assists.
Half the time you don't even know if you got the kill or not. It just says
I don't, because they took out the sound. You know what they got to do? They got to bring back the sound from Destiny 1 when you killed someone. The sound.
Mark, text real quick.
Yes, yeah, there it is. We can send it right now.
So have that sound when you kill someone, and then have the little doo-doo sound when you get the assist. You know what I mean?
Here it is.
Oh, nope.
Did it go through?
I sent it.
Let's send one again.
It's terrible in audio.
Terrible. There it goes.
There it goes.
Barely. But yes, I literally searched for. There's another one. for 2 months. Literally for 2 months to find that sound, because it was my favorite sound of anything. Was that sound when you killed somebody in the Crucible? It was brilliant.
Yep. Like every game had a we used to love, because I come from Killzone Shadowfall, the chirp sound that you got, everyone from the Killzone community used to have that on their phones, because we just loved that. Like, that was a great sound when you knew you wasted someone,
Right.
I feel like the assist sound that we have now, like you said, unless you look in the kill feed, you don't know whether you killed the person or not.
Correct. Yep. Correct.
Also, speaking of the Crucible, the Mayhem playlist is now going to return as a limited time event, which is awesome. It's going to come at some point during Season 3 and moving forward. So I think that's awesome. So there's a lot going to be coming. I mean, they do mention there's even some more behind-the-scenes security improvements to help improve the overall Crucible experience and to make quitting a little bit less common, which is something that Banhammer always needs to be thrown out there. So
absolutely
glad they're going to be doing that. Let's see, exotic buff rework. There's going to be some exotic weapons and armor are going to be receiving a comprehensive design pass to ensure they stand out from the rest of the gear and offer new, exciting, powerful ways to play.
That's awesome.
Which, by the way, I mean, this week, hopefully, Caleb, I don't know, do you have the Colony yet? Zer was selling the Colony this week. I went out there and made sure I got it. I'm sure a lot of people that played this week did.
Right.
I mean, that is what an exotic should be. You shoot a little robot that runs around on the ground and blows dudes up. And then when you reload, I mean, you see the little robot like get already in there. Like, that is so cool. Like, we need more exotics like that.
Our good buddy Lays Summerstone. Jake put a video out showing that thing is like I'm in love. And it was like one of the coolest little bit. Yeah, it was great. Yeah,
it's so annoying too, because you hear them coming after you, and you're like,
"Yeah, you do."
Nothing I could do. I could jump in the air, and it's gonna walk up the wall and chase me,
follow
and waste me. Yeah. But this thing is huge, because I'm looking at Destiny Item Manager right now. With the introduction of Masterworks, I'm not using exotics in PvE that much at all. Like Crimson, Mida, I'd like to use them in PvE, especially Crimson or Prometheus Lens, but I want to make orbs. You know what I mean? I want to have more supers when I do strikes or when I do PvE activities. So I got my Better Devils, my Origin Story, my Nameless Midnight, my Prosecutor. I've got Positive Outlook. They're all, Masterworks. So right now, they need to make exotics way more powerful than legendaries. And then when it comes to armor, same thing, man. Like, for my Titan, all I ever use is Lion Rampant or the Hollow Fire Heart. On my Warlock, I'm not taking off Ophidian Aspect whatsoever. And on my Huntress, there's only 2 I'm running. Raiden Flux for Arcstrider and Orpheus Rig, where there are some cool other exotics on all 3 classes, but there's just the perks don't really stand out that much, or what they do is not like, like there's the Crown of Tempest, Nezarec Sin, like for the Warlock, which are good helmets, the Skull of Dire Kara, but the effect of what they do is not enough for me to say, oh, you know what? I'm on my Voidwalker for PvE.
Right.
I'll take this off now.
I'd rather have my fast reload with Ophidian Aspect,
Absolutely.
The fact that they're going to rework them, I'm totally all for it.
Awesome. Very, very cool. Let's see. There's going to be some playlist repetition reduction. So now it's going to solve the problem of experiencing the same playlist entry. So like Crucible maps, strikes, things like that. Which
Mark, how many times when we were playing strikes the other day did we have to back out of the same strike that was putting us in every single time? Yep. It was like 3 times in a row.
It was. I get the Taken Blight one literally every other strike.
I don't remember which one it was. We were like, not this again. No, and we had to back out like 3 different times to get a different strike. It was just ridiculous, but this is great.
Yep. So that's cool. The emote wheel, which is something everybody's been asking for, especially. I mean, why it was never in D1, the fact that you're selling emotes and you're not having an emote wheel. So this is coming at some point. So you can have 4 emotes slotted in there.
Reading the next one.
You want to go ahead? I'll let you do it.
And the granddaddy of them all. That's a Keith Jackson reference. If you don't know who Keith Jackson passed away. He's one of the greatest broadcasters in the history of sports. My mic just died.
No, your mic. I don't think you've been even coming through that mic the whole show, dude. I think you're in your laptop mic.
So anyway, all right. So
now you're coming through. Mic.
There now you sound so much better.
Now your mic is on.
K-Dub fail.
K-Dub fail. The Granddaddy Mall is Vault Space.
Yes.
So it says, we're targeting an additional 50 slots to player vaults. Oh my God.
But I think what's cool is they say they don't believe that just adding the space is a solution.
Yeah.
And that they're working on other changes to reduce load on the vault space.
Short-term and long-term solutions for shaders and also for vault space.
Kiosks.
Bring the kiosks. Those iPhone stations. We need to have those back. But this is a great thing. Vault Space is that's been my, like, literally I was saying on our stream the other night with Sean, my Postmaster is my vault again.
Yeah.
It's because, my vault is full, so I make sure that my inventory is full on my character when I go to do anything. So it all goes to my Postmaster, and then I can select what I want to delete and what I don't. But it literally, I'm back to the place where my Postmaster is my vault.
Shouldn't they just even have like the legendary items in like a kiosk? Even like make it where, we have the exotic kiosk when you see the armor and all. Just make it where you have a kiosk and it's like, here's even the legendary weapons. Here's all the Viced weapons you got. Here's all the Vanguard weapons you've received. And it literally, they're either highlighted if you have them or not. I mean, we have the database. We know what weapon. You can go to Destiny Item Manager. There's all the weapons in the game. Put that into a kiosk, and then they are available to you as you unlock them. And hey, even make it where if you dismantle one, you have to go back and buy it again with legendary shards. Make it a minimal amount of shards, so it's not like too much of a hassle to do. But I think that just solves it. And then people are able to collect that, and then you put in emblems for you've collected all the Vice weapons, you've collected all the whatever weapons. I think that would just be cool if they did it that way, and then that would kind of solve it. I would think.
I think I'm the only one not complaining about vault space because I think there's not enough fun guns in the game to collect. I'll be frank with you guys.
See, mine is more. I think mine is more armor than guns.
Okay, armor. Yeah. See, armor.
So I have armor, and then I have again I have gotten rid of all duplicates of any gun.
Okay.
So I only have one of any type of gun in my vault. But you also see the other thing too is for me because I haven't leveled up. I've got a character still to level up, so I want to leave some of those lower level guns that I can pass along as I level up my third character. You know what I'm saying? Instead of having to go through. Yeah. So I've got those guns. I've got the stuff that I want to keep. I've got armor sets that I like. I've got different things. So I'm a collector. So I have all these different things that I don't want to delete. And I don't have the space. So I think this is a great Band-Aid. This is a really good Band-Aid. Mm-hmm. And, then I think if it's the iPhone stations or the kiosks or whatever, I think that's a good way to go too. But there's definitely got to be, there's just got to be a better way,
Yeah. Yeah. And then finally, let's wrap this up here with fall 2018 or sooner. This is kind of the rest of the things on the list here. It says they're working on ways that they're not quite ready to discuss, but expect more on a small sample of items, such as item collections and records, weapon slot and archetype improvements, which we talked about a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Additional Crucible playlists, such as Rumble. We mentioned that. Better clan rewards. That's huge. Masterwork exotics. Very cool. Pinnacle weapon and gear improvements.
What do you mean by pinnacle weapon?
Pinnacle weapons, I think, are top tier weapons. I think More console. Our buddy Alan, he'd sent a message to Christopher Barrett asking about Pinnacle weapons, and it was about top tier weapons.
Okay, so what everyone like Nameless Midnight, right? Better Devils, right?
Things like that, yep.
Okay,
whatever it is, right?
Let's see, Trials of the Nine improvements. What do you guys think needs to be improved there? I mean, I think if they bring in some of the Crucible changes, that may just bring the changes with them, right?
Might work itself out, I think.
Shaders and dismantling, that is huge. Being able to dismantle.
Group dismantling would be great.
Yep. The future of guided games. I mean, that's something that we talked about here. Like, what is the state of guided games? Is it working? Is it not? And then address solo versus fire team matchmaking, which is great. So
I think the ranked playlist is gonna solve that.
I think it is.
The one thing that I want to point out from that, though, is the item collections and records. Bring the record books back. Do you remember getting Rise of Iron and cracking the seal on it, or the Age of Triumph book? You cracked the seal on it, and there was how many pages did Age of Triumph have? You know what I mean? And they would make you chase those emblems, those like rewards and stuff. Even if I didn't really care for them, just the completionists. I'm not even sure that's the right word, but the completionists that we are. If I have a record book with things to do in Destiny 2, regardless whether I want the emblem or shade or whatever, I'm going to go complete it. You know what I mean? Because when someone sees me with that whatever emblem on, I did everything on that record book page for the raid. You know what I mean? Like, I love the record. I really hope they bring those back.
Yep, definitely. It just gives you, I mean, that's why even as simple as the milestones are in the game right now, it directs you things to do. And the record books were that. It just directed you here, okay, you need to do this in the raid, and you would go out and go for it. I mean, it's same reason even why achievements on like the Xbox or PlayStation work. Because it's like people go in there, not that I really care so much about the achievement score, but you see things that you can do and maybe play the game differently. So it just gives you something to chase to do it. But overall, guys, I mean, now that we've kind of dug through all this, how are you feeling now? I mean, personally, for me, I think these things are obviously things that we all wanted. I mean, deep down, kind of the cynic in me looks at it and says these are things that probably should have been there from the beginning, right?
That's the big thing everyone's been complaining about. It should have been at the beginning or whatever, But
again,
the funny thing is, hindsight is 2020, right?
Exactly.
And the changes that they made going into D2. When we first saw them all, we were all like, oh my God, this is great. Yeah. This is going to be the best thing ever. Yep. Fours and this and that and static rolls and no more. Blah, blah, blah. We thought it was going to be awesome. And then it wasn't. So, okay, you can't just snap your fingers and change it. Right? So.
Yep. But I will tell you, man, the changes that are here are definitely going to make me want to play that much more, and not only just come back like I did with Curse of Osiris for like a week or two and have some fun and then kind of fall off and dabble in.
Yeah.
The fact that there's raid perks, those weapons are things to chase, things for me to want to do. It seems to me like the Nightfalls now are going to be a lot more fun. Yeah. Eventually, when they bring in the modifiers to the heroic strikes, those are all going to be great things. And when a lot of those changes come in the spring, if that expansion, which they're working their butts off to try to put a lot of content in there, if they can deliver more content than maybe what was originally planned, just even if it's just a little bit extra, give us maybe another strike or two or whatever it is they're going to do with these changes coming in, I think they're great. And for people that maybe left the game maybe after a week or two, those who dove in, didn't get in the expansion, when you come back to the game now when all these changes are in, it's going to be great.
Yep.
The only concern I have is that because I love all these changes, to me it's TTKing Destiny 2, correct? Mm-hmm. I think it would have been more impactful if it all hit at once. I mean, like, can you imagine if all of this was hitting? We got an expansion coming out.
But Shawnee, real quick, they can't. If they did this all at once, so many things would get screwed up.
It
would be a nightmare.
Just that. I think they just.
I was just talking strictly. Listen, I'm going to be happy with these changes, but I'm just saying from the community perspective, slowly rolling these things out, I think is the smart thing to do. But from an impactful way to appease the hardcores or appease the community, I think it would have made a huge slam dunk if like new expansion, new content, new stories, new strikes, and the laundry list of what we're seeing right now would have been a huge impact, I think, But I'm loving these changes. I'm still playing the game. So for me, this is all gravy. The fact that they're adding all this stuff, I'm going to have a good time. My raid crew that I play with, like we did the raid layer a couple times last week, we're all ready for these changes. You know what I mean? Like we're foaming at the mouth for them right now.
That's awesome.
Well, I mean, that's the thing for me that I've been thinking as Caleb. I mean, we honestly have not been running the raid literally in months because there's been nothing really to chase right now in the raid. However, now when I was hearing all this with the raid perk weapons and all that, I was like, man, we really got to get in there to practice and get back to raid ready and get our crew back together and start raiding weekly. Because to me, that was the raids were the best part of Destiny 1, man. And I just loved getting together with people every week and doing that. And, it's just been kind of a bummer, I think, over the last few months, not having the drive to continue doing that. And honestly, I think these changes for me are definitely going to bring that in. I want that raid ghost. I want it. I don't even know what it looks like yet, but I want it. Just because,
what perks could it possibly have?
I don't know, man.
Like raid-specific perks. I mean, is it maybe increase raid loot? I mean, because right now, Ghost Shells just really have more tokens or something. I hope it has some sort of perk that benefits you in the raid. You know
why don't we have raid ships anymore?
I know, man.
I really miss ships.
But even if they start introducing them, okay, the way that they're going to bring back value to ships, Ghost Shells, Sparrow shaders, is if the more that come into the end game or the real rare ones that are hard to get, and the less that Eververse sells good ones or cool ones,
right?
They need to bring back the value to them, because right now, if they drop them all right, like within Crimson Days and so forth, you could still get them from Eververse, But if they start, like the Sagira shell, you see someone that has it, they forged all those weapons, So what I think Bungie has to do from the go forward for the rest of Destiny 2, and also Kotaku supposedly reported that they started working on Destiny 3 already. Jason Schreier said that. But if they start devaluing what Eververse sells and adding value to that stuff, Sparrows, Ghost Shells, to give them unique perks and things that you can only get, and you can only get these items from playing the game, that's what they need to do for the next 2 years or however we have, like for Destiny 2, to bring back value. Because right now, if I see a ship, I bought the Ikora ship last week, but I bought it with Bright Dust. You know what I mean? Like,
ships mean more to me than sparrows. Yeah. Because sparrow, it's just you jump on it occasionally, you go from point A to point B. Fine. Nobody really sees that. Ships, however, if you're going in, when you're going in, you're going into a 6v6 playlist, right? And you're all loading in, and you all have different shit. And you're like, who has that ship? Whose ship is that? What is that? Where'd you get that? That's the stuff that's cool and fun. It's a loading screen nugget, and it's really, really cool. The sparrows and the ghosts, man, you hardly see them.
Yep.
It makes you inspect. When you see someone with a cool ship, it makes you inspect their character.
Yeah, dude.
Because then you start noticing other things. Oh, wait a second, he got this exotic. You know what I mean? Like, where did he get that from?
Yeah, dude.
But adding Ghost Shells, I think, is going to be a big, because I love that Ghost Shells have perks. Love it. But they need to introduce perks that are going to benefit you within the game. I know that's redundant there, but I mean, like, devalue the Ghost Shells from Eververse. That, okay, they're cool looking, but you really want to get this Ghost Shell from the raid. Or, you know what, Savathun's song or whatever, she can drop a Ghost Shell that can do XYZ to Hive or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Add something, add perks to the Ghost Shells that aren't just more faction consumables. Or you can detect things. Add, a ghost that some resistance to whatever. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I can't think off the top of my head right now.
No, you're right. You're right, though. You're right. You're right.
People in stream are probably like, why does Mesa keep yawning or whatever? Because I'm on no sleep because I have to get up early every day this week. So I'm getting a tooth pulled on Thursday. So fun stuff.
All right, well, let's move on here past that, guys. Again, send us your emails, feedback@theguardiansofdestiny.com. We'd love to get your thoughts on what you think of the development update. I mean, people have been tweeting us. You already have been emailing us, but send us more emails. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And, again, we read your emails all the time. But also, you can email us or find in the show notes the link to our clan spotlight. If you're looking for a clan, or if you think your clan has what it takes and you're looking for some new members, send us some info about your clan. And, Kato, I'm going to let you take it over here, the part of the show where we basically spotlight these clans. So what do you got for our clan spotlight this week, man?
Absolutely. So we asked for some people to send us some clan spotlights. They absolutely did that. And I selected one that is an Xbox clan, and it is Strike Team Honey Badger. Woo. Says we are an active clan with 50. Exactly.
Our honey badgers are like vicious, aren't they? Just on your face.
Yes, absolutely. I love it. So it says we are an active clan of 15 to 20 members on most every night, running all end game activities. We have several raid groups going on nights and weekends, and you can always find someone to run the Nightfalls with. Most of us are decent Crucible players. However, we don't have an elite fire team for trials. We are in desperate need of Guardians that focus on PvP and trials for clan rewards. Most of us came from other clans. We understand the life/gaming balance and are always looking for new members to make our clan better. All we ask is that members in this clan help other members. Be a raid Sherpa, host trials, carries. Nice. Other than that, honey badgers don't give a bleep. 45 members currently in the clan and growing. Not trying to get too big, but would like to have at least 2 raid groups going every night and a good trials crew that can help us all get all the clan rewards. So they sound like a really, really fun group of people. They want to help each other. They're, very, very tolerant, obviously. The contact is on Xbox Live at Herald Thy Hammer. That's Herald, THY, Hammer on Xbox Live. Hit those guys up. And there's also Continual Bean 83, Big Doos, Feminist Pig, and the Briggs Way. So hit those people up on Xbox Live. If you're looking for an Xbox clan or crew of people. We hear all the time, I have nobody on my friends list. Well, there's 20 people right there.
That's right.
Go hit them up if you're on the Xbox Live side.
Yep. All right. Well, let's move on here to our final segment here, the part of the show where we get you involved that we call Messages from the City. All right. Well, don't forget you can email us feedback at theguardiansofdestiny.com, just like Braden did. And he says, hello. I was wondering how you guys envision the weapon system looking when it's eventually updated. I don't want to go back to the D1 setup as I love having 2 primaries to choose from, and the way in which elemental weapons interact with shields in D2 is awesome. But I also want to see old special weapons in their glory. The solution I've been leaning on most is having 2 power weapon slots in addition to the kinetic and energy slots. You could have a rocket launcher and a sniper rifle equipped or whatever floats your boat and not have to worry about the time it takes switching weapons through your character screen or the ammo you lose when switching. And heck, if you want to equip 2 rocket launchers, why not? You're still limited by the power ammo and the time it takes to switch weapons, or maybe they could use a Call of Duty system with points per loadouts, and you could equip whatever you wanted up to your points limit. I'm hoping they move forward with a solution rather than backwards, but it's hard to see a good solution that captures the best of both games. Cheers, Braden. So what do you guys think? I mean, I actually liked that system in Call of Duty with the points. I mean, Sean, you're kind of a lapsed, or I don't want to say lapsed, a recovering Call of Duty addict.
I did relapse. I relapsed on World War II, man. That's a fun
what do you think? I always thought the point system just made sense. It was like they basically put a value on everything, and you got like 10 points to spend. Yeah. And grenade launcher was 3 points or 4 points, or certain scopes were certain points. So you could put these heavy weapons on essentially, but then you were limiting yourself on other aspects.
Because like for Black Ops 2, which to me is the holy grail of all CODs, they had the 10-point system, right? So you could take these 10 points, Blobs Deuce, and you could either put them all on your perks, like could be we used to call it Crackhead Pro, which is lightweight, which would make you run around like crazy, or Flak Jacket, or double concussion grenades, or you could put them all on your weapons. You could put your AN-94 with 3 attachments, or you can run 2 primaries or something like that. You know what I mean? Or no grenades, no concussions, and put everything into the weapons and your perks for that for running around, or Flak Jacket, or things like that. It'd be a great idea, man. I do like his idea for sure. He brings up this idea of adding 2 power slots in addition to the kinetic and energy. I mean, how would you feel about that?
That to me seems a little bit crazy. I think to do that.
It'd be a little OP, I think. But I just
think the thing is, you wouldn't have enough ammo because they're going to starve you. They're going to starve you for ammo because it would be redundant because there's not enough ammo for. So all you're doing is wasting a slot because you're not going to have ammo for both.
I just think, throw snipers, shotguns, and fusions in energy slots and just make it in PvP that you don't have as much ammo. And I think it will improve the gameplay speed of the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I don't know, interesting idea, Braden. That to me is one of the big questions I think coming away from the development update is like, what are they going to do to fix those weapons? I mean, we threw out some ideas, maybe put a shotgun or 2, some snipers and that into that energy slot. I mean, to me, that's kind of what they need to do. I mean, I don't think they would go all the way back to the old system, but to me, that old system worked pretty darn good. Obviously, once they started limiting, like we said, the special ammo, the green ammo, when they limited that down a little bit, it seemed much better. Obviously, not people running around with shotguns the whole time, but I think that's what they were trying to avoid with the way they did it this time. More specifically, just with shotguns in the power weapon slot. But what sucks now is snipers are just useless. When's the last time you used a sniper? There's no reason to use a sniper.
Never, not even in PvE,
like a staple of Destiny 1.
Not even in PvE. Sean's right. Not even in PvE.
Not even in PvE, man.
Right.
No reason, man. It's crazy. I mean, and I remember that first week of Destiny 2, like making sure I think I got the Borealis. It was like one of my first exotics that I got. And I was like, oh, yes, I got it.
I brought that up to Sean when we were talking about the stream. We did our stream about the development update and having burns, right? And I was like, man, when was the last time you used Borealis? It was like first week when we had we were doing, there was the one strike where that would switch the burns.
It was the Nightfall this week too. It was Arms Dealer and
you used it, Mark, and that's the only time you would ever use Borealis. And it's literally the only Destiny weapon that's in the PlayStation commercials. If you watch those PlayStation, the cool dude, I forget what he's doing. He's walking through the store and the shop and the different weapons and you better have this, that, and the other thing. And the only Destiny item in the entire thing is they show a little lightning bolt of the shaft of the Borealis when it's in arc, and they show that little bit. It's the only gun that made it into those incredible commercials is Borealis, and it's worthless.
Yep. I do use snipers once in Destiny 2. Every now and then you get the daily milestone, get 10 sniper kills in the trust.
Yeah, but just because you're trying to achieve that accomplishment, that's it.
Yeah,
it's a joke.
They're literally trying to use the snipers.
Because other than that, I mean, that was the DPS thing. Like, remember doing the Undying Mind strike?
Yes.
Sit the back with your longbow.
Yeah.
I had my longbow with triple tap, or icebreaker and snipe the boss. Now it's all about getting rockets, or merciless. They definitely need to mix it up. They got to mix it up.
Well, that's what Christopher Barrett's saying is they want to bring those other weapons back to their old glory.
Yep.
And hopefully there's a plan there because, hey, bring my shotguns and fusions back, baby.
My icebreaker back, dude. Bring my black spindle back. Like those are, I loved having those snipers. I always had a sniper equipped. I mean, that was my big PvE weapon, and then of course rockets you'd always be using. And now they just seem worthless.
Yep.
Let's see. We got one more email here we want to read here on the show. And like I said, you guys inundated us with emails over the last 2 weeks. Thank you so much. And a lot of those have topics that we're going to be talking about in the weeks to come to help fuel future shows here. But this one comes to us from Diablo753. And it says, Guardian Radio, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your positive attitude towards other players and towards this game. While it has been fashionable to find fault, your podcast made a conscious decision to take a different path. This matters to players such as myself for two reasons. First, I adore both Destiny 1 and Destiny 2. To be honest, I've put more hours than I probably should have. Second, while I never intended it, this has become more than just a game to me. I've been a sailor in the U.S. Navy for about 7 years now, and I've made the decision to one day retire. This lifestyle necessitates frequent moves and saying goodbye to friends and family. The friends and family I have stayed closest to share this Destiny hobby with me. I may not get to see them, but I get to hear all about their real-life triumphs and setbacks, all the while slaying aliens and arguing about the best subclass, by the way, is Warlock. Diablo, you're wrong.
High five.
Thank you for what you do, Diablo753.
First of all,
thank you for
I
your service.
Absolutely.
Yes,
thank you for your service. And I said to Mark, no matter what we do, we need to make sure we read this email because, it's people like this that understand that, look, we're going to be critical when we need to be critical, but we're going to be constructive about it, and we're going to stay positive, and we're going to find value in the other people in the community that find positivity and want to be constructive with an issue that might be in the game, because there are many issues in the game. We agree, but if you're going to just be something that I can't say right now.
Asshole.
But if you can't be constructive, it's one of those old things. If you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. But they want to say something because it's monetarily helps them or whatever. Fine. But we absolutely have made the conscious decision to be positive. You're absolutely right. But we will also come, if there's an issue, we'll say there's an issue. We have no problem with that. I mean, we had Lars Bakken on the show, and I read him the riot act about friggin' Thorn back 2 years ago. So believe me, we'll go there. But we were also going to try and find the positivity in the community and bring people together. And so thank you so much for your email. It means a lot to us. Yep. We really appreciate your listening, and thank you. It really means a lot.
Super appreciate the email. Thank you for your service. And, like with regards to the positive attitude folks, life's good. Okay. There's a lot more things to be upset about. I mean, like today I went on a blocking rampage because someone copied me when I retweeted that the faction rallies were live. And I just got these guys, Mace's a shill, he's trash and this and that. So listen, man, I'm enjoying life right now. It's a video game. It's a fun video game. It has issues. We do point out the things, but we point out things that we think can improve. Rather than saying it's trash or this sucks or whatever this and that. Okay, this is not working from a player experience. What could work from a player experience? Let's explore that. Rather than saying could have, should have, would have. You know what? It didn't. You know what I mean? So why am I going to waste my time just babbling about it should have done this, should have done it's trash, this and that? No. Okay, here's the base game. How can we make it better? And what solutions or ideas can we maybe throw up, to Bungie that they might want to implement to make the game better so we all enjoy it? You know what I mean?
Yep, it's all about the fun, man. I mean, that's why we do the show, because it's fun to do the show. That's why we play the video game, because it's fun to play the game. And, if you get disappointed with it, move on, play something else, come back when the fun is there for you. But for us, the fun's there for us. I mean, that's why we continue to play the game. We continue to do the show. I mean, that's just kind of where we're at, guys. So I don't want to go down that dark hole again because we've been there and all that. I hate to, we're sounding redundant. Like it seems like every episode we're coming back to this conversation, but
defending ourselves.
I'm glad Diablo, just straight up pointing out, and he's recognizing that we're making that conscious decision to take that different path and just have fun and enjoy the game. I mean, that it is what it is. So if you don't enjoy it, then I guess don't listen to the show, and because you're not playing the game. I don't know. It's kind of a weird thing, but for us, we're having fun, and there's a hell of a lot of people out there still playing and still having fun with this video game.
The one thing that I will say, like there's all these people that have to make these announcements that they're leaving Destiny.
Oh God, it's such drama queens.
Stop with the announcement. Just leave.
Yeah, I don't even want to go down this path again, bro. We talked about it last week. We're done. We're not gonna.
You know what? There was a quote from Edge magazine. Hold on, curse word coming inbound or whatever. Where it said in big quotes. Killing aliens is fucking relaxing, right? For me, it's relaxing. You know what I mean? Like when I go around and I do the daily milestones because I'm hoarding tokens, because I know Bungie always makes you do stuff with excess materials that you have. So I do my daily things. I listen to it. You know what? Actually, I have my headset over here turned all the way up. I have a podcast on, and I'm just doing my daily milestones, collecting tokens and stuff because I know that I'm going to use them at some point. But you know what? There are I forgot, where was I going with that? But basically, I was saying is that for me, it's a fun game, but I love Star Wars Battlefront. I love World War II. I feel like if you play only one game and it's not to what you expected it to be, of course you're going to get angry. You know what I mean? I don't think I'm as angry as this because, one, I'm old, so I come from a generation where I've seen where video games were, and there were no hot fixes, you know what I mean? And there was a cartridge and this and that. But there's other games, you know what I mean? And to me, playing other games helps you with Destiny 2 because for me, it prevents burnout, man. As soon as I'm done with Miles, I'm going into Battlefront, man. You know what I mean? I love Battlefront. It's a fun game.
Absolutely.
So, there you go, guys. And again, keep emailing us, feedback@thegardensofdestiny.com. We've loved hearing your comments over the last few weeks. And I know with the development update, a lot of people have a lot of just opinions and thoughts. So send those to us. I know, there's probably even more things you can speculate about as to what some of the things that we mentioned today that maybe aren't totally cleared out or just cleared up in the development update. I'm sure some of you can shed light on that. Send it to us. And, next week, we're definitely going to be back. We will be back Monday night next week at 8:30 p.m. So if you want to be here live on Twitch, you can tune into us, twitch.tv/Guardian Radio. Thank you guys over in the Twitch chat for being here. Seems like the video worked a little bit better this week, I think. I know some of our cameras froze up a little bit. We kind of were dropping here and there, but I think overall, I think it definitely went much better. And if you want to see our ugly mugs, you can find them at youtube.com/MesaSean. You can find us over there on Sean's channel. It should be posted up tomorrow on Wednesday. And of course, subscribe to us over on YouTube, on iTunes. or Podbean, whatever your podcast service of choice is. And big thank you to all our supporters over on Podbean through our crowdfunding campaign. You can find the link to that if you want to help support the show. You can find it down in the show notes or over on Twitch. We put out our latest episode this week, so thank you guys so much. And email us your topics for EBD if you are a subscriber. We want you now to begin sending those to us at feedback@theguardiansofdestiny.com. Just make sure you put EBD in the subject line, and you'll have your topics read on the next episode of EBD. The boys, what do you got? Anything else you want to wrap up here?
Yes, a big thank you to you, Mark, because you're the one. A big thank you, everybody, to Mark for getting the cameras worked out for this, because before the show goes live, poor Mark is dealing with his Mac and then his PC and then his computer and so forth. So, Mark, thank you for getting this. It's a work in progress, and I think it looks good, and I love doing the face cam.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Definitely. I don't know why we didn't do this like from the beginning. I think the face cams definitely are the best. I hope it's going to come out okay. I mean, I'm such a perfectionist with this shit, man. And like, honestly, the computer I'm running at 720 this week. I'm hoping the audio stays synced a little bit, but this Mac, man, it's a 2009 Mac and it just cannot handle this. My wife and I, we're going to get an iMac soon, but I think the push for the new iMac is coming like tomorrow, possibly, maybe go to the Apple store. Be like, yeah, we got to get that new iMac because I need that bad. So
the only shout out that I want to say is to the BBC. Blue Planet 2 starts on Saturday night. I am psyched about it. # gather together. If you're not into it, man, I don't know. But like the Planet Earth 2 was huge, Blue Planet, and now Blue Planet 2 comes out on Saturday nights. And I watch it with all my kids, and we just have an amazing time. Be aware on the BBC, Blue Planet 2 comes out Saturday night.
You know what? Speaking too of EBD, I don't think I mentioned it on this show. I think it was on EBD we were talking about it. We have booked ourselves now for GuardianCon.
Yeah,
yep.
Flights, hotels, everything.
So if you are going to GuardianCon, it's official. We will be there this year again. We're going to have a booth yet again. So if you're going, you want to stop by and meet us, we'll be there. Of course, a lot more plans to iron out, meetups, things like that. But if you're going to the event, we will have the Guardian Radio booth as always. So we will see many of you there, I'm sure. And it seems like the community's been falling apart over the last few months. But if there's one thing I think that should at least stay, and the GuardianCon was not. Sure, it was started with Destiny, but it's the community that really has made that. I hope none of that changes this year, and that people are like, it sucks. I'm not going to GuardianCon. Like, no, the event is the people. It's fun. It's still a blast.
Yeah, it's a good time.
And, it seems like I think they're even bringing in some other games, which means I think the crowd that's going to be there is going to be much bigger, a lot more people. So it's very cool. So if you can make it to GuardianCon, I urge you to try and make it. And a big thank you to all our EBD subs. I mean, you guys, once again, are helping us get there, helping us get the booth, because
Ed?
Booth prices did go up a little bit this year. So, but we will have the booth. So we hope to see many of you there. So with that, everybody, thank you here for tuning into the show, however you're tuning in, whether it's over on Twitch, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Podbean, whether it's on iTunes, whatever. Thank you guys so much. And with that, we'll catch you guys next time. Later.
That's a flu.
Nice. What did Ed say? He can't make it?